Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, supported one of her best friends, Kelly McKee Zajfen, at the Alliance for Children's Rights annual Champions for Children gala. She even presented for her. There's so much we have to get into, especially Meghan's look. Y'all already knew I was gearing up to talk about it because she looked absolutely stunning. I know I'm late, but we have to make a little time starting off this week with a Sussex style. So let's get started. Thank you so much for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, I am excited to finally get a chance to talk about both Meghan and Kelly McKee Zajfen's looks from the Alliance for Children's Rights annual Champions for Children gala. They both looked so stunning. It was great to see them so happy and jovial on the red carpet. They were having the time of their lives. Kelly McKee Zajfen is coming along quite nicely in her pregnancy. I did not realize she was so far along. It feels like she just announced the pregnancy yesterday and she was barely showing. So it's great to see that everything is going well. And I'm so happy that they are both enjoying the moment. They both were glowing. So today we will be discussing this appearance from Meghan as well as her outfit, reading an article from Feminagra, and then dissecting Meghan's outfit. But before we do, if you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share so that more people can find us. Meghan attended the event solo without Prince Harry, but her purpose was unmistakable. Her friendship with Kelly Zajfen is long-standing, and her support for the Alliance for Children's Rights has been consistent rather than performative. She posed alongside Zajfen as the honouree, joined by guests including Katherine Pope, Rhea Seehorn, and Kumail Nanjiani. But there was no sense of spectacle. Meghan has become increasingly selective about where she appears and when she does. It tends to be for causes that align with her work and values. That choice alone speaks volumes. For the evening, Meghan chose a strapless navy Ralph Lauren silk cady gown paired with the vintage Chanel earrings and her signature Cartier watch and bracelet. I have no idea why when I went to say Chanel, it came out Chanel. We're just going to keep it rolling. I'm not AI, I'm a real person. So there are times where I will mispronounce things, but I have no idea why it came out that way, and I'm just going to leave it in. Enjoy. The styling was restrained, even minimal, yet it did exactly what it always does. Within hours, the dress had drawn significant attention, with reports that demand surged almost immediately after her appearance. It is a familiar story. Analysts have long tracked the so-called Meghan Effect, noting that her wardrobe choices routinely drive dramatic spikes in sales and interest. The British press, of course, continues to insist she is struggling in her career. That narrative becomes harder to sustain each time she steps out and quietly moves markets without saying a word. There is a tendency within parts of the British media to frame Meghan through cycles of decline, controversy, or irrelevance. Appearances like this quietly dismantle that narrative. She arrives, supports a cause, elevates the moment, and leaves without turning it into a performance about herself. The result is impact without overexposure, visibility without excess. While the press ties itself in knots trying to frame her decline, it ends up laying the groundwork for free advertising when her next project arrives. She's smart. If there was any doubt about whether Meghan's influence remains, Thursday night provided a clear answer. A single appearance, a single dress, and the conversation shifts. That is the Meghan Effect. It does not require constant headlines. It does not rely on access or proximity. And it certainly does not need validation from the outlets that continue to misunderstand it. It simply happens. The Alliance for Children's Rights focuses on protecting children in foster care and helping families navigate the legal system, work that continues to draw support from both Meghan and Harry. Kelly co-founded the organization in 2014 in support of the Alliance for Children's Rights, which provides legal services, education, housing, and critical support for vulnerable children. Through Kelly's Alliance for Moms, the focus extends to helping pregnant and parenting teens in the foster care system. During the evening, she was honored with an award presented by Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, recognizing both their longtime friendship and shared commitment to this work. As far as what Meghan wore for the evening, she wore the Ralph Lauren collection Shelley Silk Cady evening dress. She paired that with Stuart Weitzman nudist sandals in black. And of course, she wore her gold Cartier stack and watch. And then as far as her earrings, it looks like she re-wore the earrings that she wore to the Royal Salute Polo Challenge for the Bali charity in Miami, Florida, way back when. But these earrings are the Chanel vintage round button earrings in gold. So of course, we have to get into the look overall, and we're going to start at the tippy top, Meghan's hair. Now, if you've been here for any amount of time, y'all know I'm a sucker for a sleek chignon, especially with a little tousled hair left out. I think it's so beautiful. It's always chic, but also it's very convenient. When you are about to be moving around, talking to people, presenting, etc., sometimes it just is not worth having your hair down because it's about to be all in your face. And if you're like me, after a while, your hair touching your neck for too long, it gets irritating. Now, I don't think this is a Meghan thing because she wears her hair up and down all the time. But it is a very convenient hairstyle to look chic, to look formal, to look presentable, to just always look your best. And it frames your face so well, no matter what type of face you have. Chignons complement everybody, especially a well-placed low chignon with a little hair out. Or if you're from my day as an elder millennial, if you leave out a kiss, that little tendril, it's always going to look cute. It's always going to look chic. And so we know that Meghan wears her hair up and down. This isn't a factor for her, but I am a sucker for a chignon because you just always look so put together, but not like you tried too hard. That's what makes it so magical. So I've always loved Meghan chignons. I actually have 2 separate videos as Sussex Styles where we rated her best buns and chignon. And you know, anytime you are dominating a hairstyle to the point where people can actually rate them, you are killing it. And you know what, Meghan? This is one of your signature looks. I love a good chignon. So I love that she had some of her hair tucked back, some of it left out. It gave that tousled, barely there look. We know that Meghan has kind of like this rule to her looks where everything is just so. She doesn't like things to be too buttoned up and too narrow, but she does like to be put together, but she wants to be livable. I think that's the best way to go about it because if you're going to be out and about moving around, you don't want to be uncomfortable. You want to look your best and you want to look like you. That's always so important. Now we have to talk about her makeup. First of all, with this giant gold earring, you want that to be highlighted. This beautiful Chanel earring, especially a good vintage Chanel, that needs to be highlighted. So having some of her hair tucked back so that you get that bam of that gold earring, that was perfect. But then we see that she goes with her typical very muted makeup. So you still have the beautiful eyes, the beautiful lips, everything is accentuated, but again, just so. And then you get this bam gold earring. I absolutely love it. It's so well put together. Now, I find this to be interesting. It's not a surprise that Meghan is one of my favorite style icons. It's not a shock because a lot of her style staples I've always abided by. And I took some heat throughout the years from being too minimal. And so highlighting Meghan's fashion sometimes makes me feel like I'm getting a little retribution because some of my friends in college used to come at me hard about not over accessorizing. And I'm the type of person that's like a live and let live type of person. Like if you do what works for you, then by all means, if you don't care about my opinion, I'm certainly not going to care enough to give it. If you look like what you want to look like, I'm happy for you. I don't really invest in other people's looks like that. But I am a very minimalist person, especially when going out. I believe in the old adage that you take something off right before you leave. And so I'm big on letting your natural features kind of highlight you. So I've always had, especially when I was younger, a really nice, prominent and pronounced clavicle. So I rarely wore necklaces. And when I did, they were very small so that they would just highlight what was already there. And I had really toned arms. So a lot of times my bracelets were kind of thin so that they weren't covering up, the length of my arms, etc. But I barely did, too many accessories. Well, keep in mind, around this time, it's like 2010. This is when accessories were just like, you could buy them by the pound from like Charlotte Russe and Agassi and Forever 21. So people would go to the club sounding like a set of keys because you have like 10 necklaces stacked, 15 bangles, earrings up the ear. And so needless to say, I didn't really fit in with the trend at the time. So as an adult now, or as an older adult now, I find great pleasure in talking about someone who just nails minimal style or minimalist style and knows how enough is more than enough. And you never want to do too much as long as it works for you. Now, there are some people who like overly accessorize and they know how to do it and they know how to balance it. And that's just not my ministry. I prefer a minimalist style, which is why Meghan's style is a style that I've always gravitated to. Ever since I discovered her as a public figure, I'm always like, that's what I've been saying this whole time. You don't have to do too much. But this is a great example of what I personally feel like what a nice statement piece and accentuating and accessorizing around that statement piece can look like without doing too much. Because she had on a strapless top, she didn't put on a necklace because she already had the chunky earring and she has the chignon. So not only do you get the beautiful length of her neck, the pop of the clavicle, and her very broad shoulders, you get all of that 1, 2, and 3 punch back to back, like fit, toned, comfortable, and I'm still accessorizing. And then you always have her gold stack. That's more than enough. But then you also have this beautiful silk column dress, and you don't want to take away from that at all. You want to be able to take it in. And of course, we've talked about Meghan's skin against navy. It's always going to be a win. There's just no fighting it, okay? It's always going to be a win. Her skin really does pop with navy. She is absolutely glowing. But with this navy dress, the fact that it's silk, it's catching the light. If you've noticed, it's catching the light when she moves. It's also accentuated with gold accessories. She didn't have to do too much, and her glowing skin, believe it or not, is an accessory to this. This is what makes the dress really come alive. This entire look was so well conceptualized and even better executed. She's fit. The dress looks great on her. The way she accessorized it is beautiful. And whatever bronzer and lip combo she used, nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Now, I love these strappy heels. I think they're so pretty, and I feel like they go with anything. But if you are having like a nude moment, not nude, but if you have like a moment where your dress is showing a lot of skin, these shoes really bring it on home. And I love when you wear a strapless or a sleeveless top and you have dress and you have these shoes. I feel like it just gives you that quality of kind of flying free, because they're minimal, although they provide you the support because they're shoes. There's very minimal fabric covering your foot. It's just barely there. There's a shoe, but you're mostly just getting feet. And I love this shoe. I love this entire combination. Anyway, I thought it was beautiful. And I don't know if this was a factor. More than likely it was, because all of her clothing choices have been very intentional. But the Alliance for Children's Rights, their logo is navy and white. So I thought that was so considerate to continue on by wearing navy. What a considerate choice. This look is a 10 out of 10. No notes. I thought it was so perfectly accessorized. And ma'am, your clavicle looks absolutely phenomenal. Drop the workout routine. I need it now. I know that she likes to do the rowing machine. I know that. So I'm kind of giving credit there with her back, arms, and clavicle. That rowing machine is paying off. But if you have a fitness routine, drop the fitness routine, girl. I need to know what it is. Y'all let me know, what are your thoughts on this look? And because we've been rating her chignons from the beginning to now, where does this land on your favorite Meghan chignons? I'm going to give it some thought. And when we come back from the break, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to give it some thought. Thank you so much for watching the Sharion Sade YouTube channel. I appreciate you watching my content. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video by hitting the thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. And don't forget to comment along the way. If you feel so inclined, please don't forget to share so that more people can find it. Since we're on the topic of fashion and luxury, I have to talk to you about today's sponsor, Shop LC. As you know, I am partial to all things gold, sapphires, and of course, diamonds. Shop LC not only has incredible jewelry options, but they have products from everything from beauty to fashion and so much more. And the best part? For every purchase made from Shop LC, you feed one hungry child. For every purchase made, they automatically provide one meal on your behalf to a child in India or the United States. Your purchase feed supports more than 50,000 children every day. Each and every child can focus on learning instead of being hungry. Your purchase feeds provides a path to a successful future and puts an end to generational poverty. Because of your purchase, millions of children have a better chance at a successful future. Every purchase is more than providing a meal to a child in need. It's about feeding their hearts, minds, and futures. I was blown away at the vast selection of items from ShopLC.com, from beauty to their home items to their fashion, but I was really taken aback by their incredible selection of lab-grown diamonds. I love lab-grown diamonds. I'm all about being ethical, but I love being stylish and fashionable. So I appreciated that they had not only so much jewelry in abundance, but so much jewelry that I could feel good about. When they say they're committed to delivering joy, I would have to back them up on that. Use the link in the description box below to check out these incredible items and so much more. To save 26% off on your purchase, use code SAVE26. Thank you to Shop LC for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to our Sussex style. Both ladies looked beautiful and elegant. They looked stunning. And best of all, their biggest assets were that they were both in such a joyful state. They looked genuinely so happy to be there and happy to be with each other. I love seeing friendships like this, especially as adults. We get so consumed with our lives and so much going on, especially these women. They're both so busy. So to see that they are still nurturing such a beautiful and fruitful friendship is wonderful to see. It can be done with a little effort and elbow grease. I think that's so beautiful. So I have to get into ranking the Sharion as I promised. Y'all, I don't know. I think this just shot to number one. They can't all shoot to number one as soon as you see them, Sharion. You have to rank them. I have to be honest. It's really hard because it's so elegant and and it's actually my favorite hairstyle. I just think it's so beautiful and it suits her very well. It frames her face very well. So I have to say this is my favorite Sharion so far. And that is tough because y'all know there's a certain Sharion she wore. Oh wow, it was a couple of years ago that I talk about often with the bangs down, and it's very, very similar to this. And it was while she was pregnant, and it's one of my favorite Sharion. So I think this one ascended to being number one alongside that Sharion. So this one is a number one. I can't rate it any lower than that. It's absolutely stunning. I just think the whole combination was stunning. I liked the makeup, the hair, the dress, the accessories. I thought it was just so well put together, and the fact that it was considerate. She stayed in theme with the actual organization and wore their color. I thought, what a great touch. So those are my thoughts. Thanks to everyone who checked out Shop LC from my last video. Thank you so much to Shop LC for sponsoring. If you've purchased something from them, let me know what has been the best thing that you've purchased from them. I'm still working my way through their inventory. It is freaking massive. So I've been working my way through and it has been a very fun chore, let me tell you. So if you're interested in making a purchase, use the link below. And if you want to save 26% off your order, use SAVE26 as a code. That is all I have for y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I will see y'all next time. Members and Patreon members, y'all are getting new videos this week. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.